That win puts Moon at 1 win and 1 loss. Hot needs to beat Infi to claim the top spot in the group. If he loses 2-0, he would be out based on the tiebreaker. If he loses 2-1, then the matches would all have to be replayed. Against Moon, Infi got close spawns on Turtle Rock with only a 1 in 3 chance of getting it. He gets it again against Hot in their first map. Hot goes for a neutral hero, and his late archer Alter gets attacked by 6 militia, and the Alter goes down, a crippling blow for Hot. Infi manages to help Hot out by trapping his Archmage in his base and burning a town portal to get out. Even with that delay, Infi is back fast enough to take out Hot's second try at the altar. The third time is the charm for Hot as he builds the altar in the middle of the map. It still takes him some time, and in that time, Infi nearly gets his Ancient of War destroyed, but the Wisps repair it just enough. That prolongs its life a good 30 seconds, but finally the Ancient of War goes down. But Hot isn't out. The Fire Lord comes back, and along with it, his Ancient of War goes up. One tower finishes, quickly depleting the mana of the Fire Lord, but that's all that Infi can manage in the first tower push. Hot knows if Infi's hurt footmen, and he separates them from the Archmage so they can't be healed. Infi tries to use Militia to heal them in a very nice play, forcing the Fire Lord away, but Hot hits each footman once to cancel the healing. Hot adds some Huntresses to his army, and he has a strong army in this Tier 1 battle. Infi is smart to counter with Riflemen, but in the end, it's his footmen who save him with a surround on the Fire Lord. Hot goes for Tier 2, and with it, a Panda. The hero lead goes to Hot despite his incredibly late first hero, but the game is still close, and Infi's times an expansion to perfection, but Hot ignores the towers and goes in. The peasants would do a lot better running than trying to repair the doomed towers. A level 5 Fire Lord and the level 3 Panda dominate the battle, giving Hot a win on the first map that guarantees him at least a tiebreaker, even if he loses the next 2 maps. We go to Tyrannus Stand next, and Hot goes for an early expansion with his Warden, quickly getting it to level 3. Infi also expands early at his natural, but the Warden massacres his peasants. He brings more in just in time. Infi tries to cancel the Tree of Life of Hot, and it's insanely close to getting the kill, but the Archmage backs off too quickly, and the tree manages to finish. The Naga of Hot tries to continue some harassment, but it doesn't do too well until the Warden comes in and joins the fun. The Warden gives the Night Elf the firepower that he needs to take out footmen with defend and force the occasional town portal. But Infi knows how to play Warcraft 3 too. He diverts a small portion of his army to creep the upper right gold mine and tower it up without Hot noticing until it's too late. Hot uses his economy advantage to make a quick army of glaive throwers and push Infi's first expansion. Eventually it falls, but in the meantime Infi has added his other expansion to his economy. At the same time, Infi takes out the expansion of Hot, but the base race is won by the player with Siege, and Hot is just that player, going after the main of Infi next. Hot slowly but surely goes from expansion to expansion, taking out all of Infi's bases. Infi did manage to rebuild them all in time, but the hero and army advantage are too far in Hot's favor, so Infi bows out to take third place in his group. Despite the early loss, Moon makes it out of his group and on to the next phase of the tournament. The final group is Todd, Fov, and Hooligan. Hooligan is simply outmatched by the 2 experts, and he loses without taking a single map. The battle for first place in the group is between Todd and Fov, a rematch of the Blizzard Worldwide Invitational Finals, which went to Todd. The first game is more close positions on Turtle Rock. Todd expertly harasses, and despite getting only a few Acolyte kills, he delays Fov's tech considerably, putting him far ahead in the race to Tier 2. Todd gets to Tier 3 first and goes for Knights and a few flying machines. He adds in a Death Knight surround and gets a town portal out of Fov. The 2 fight with the newly made destroyers for Fov. The Knights fall quickly, but the Fiends also fall. Everything seems to be countered very effectively in the battle. Fov loses both of his destroyers. That's 10 food to the flying machines. But the ground battle is still very close. 3 heroes against 3 heroes. Todd ends up dropping back first, and he town portals out. But Todd takes a creeping advantage, getting basically every red creep on the map except for the remnants of 1 after Fov's creepjack. Fov goes on the offensive, forcing a town portal, and puts up an expansion at the same time. The battle pits 2 large armies, but the Death Knight gets low and he drops back to his base. The armies meet again. This time the Griffins are out in force for Todd. The Fiends have to constantly back off to survive the onslaught and hopefully to get away from the flying units of Todd. The battle continues for about 90 seconds before Todd breaks through with a Lich kill. Fov answers with a Paladin kill, and finally they fight again, and the expansion for Fov really comes through for him as the main gold mines run out for both players. Todd gets Terran to stand for the next map, and he goes for an expansion in the lower left-hand corner. Fav goes for Fiends, and he does well, but his Death Knight gets a little too low, and Todd forces it to use a town portal with the killing attack in the air. Fav tries to push again at Tier 2. Neither player really wins the battle. Todd loses a few more units, but it takes so much time that Fav's goal of taking out the expansion goes up in flames. Todd goes for Solo Breakers and tries to come up with something against Fav's constant pushes. He finds it with a quick hero kill on the Death Knight. The stun from Stormbolt never ended before the Death Knight fell. Todd tries for it again as he creeps out his natural expansion, but the Death Knight survives and Fav takes the battle. Again, Todd pulls out the Griffins, but this time there's no expansion for Fav, and Todd picks apart Fav's army to take the victory and force a deciding Game 3. The third map is Twisted Meadows, and as always, the human creeps the Goblin Lab first, where Todd expertly loses 3 peasants. He still tries for the expansion, and as always, Fav tries to stop him. With the quick level 3 on the Archmage, Fav can't use ghouls against the expansion, and he has to pull out Fiends. That's just what he goes for against that fairly late expansion. The Fiends come in time to take out a few towers, but again, both players micro very well, and all that happens is a very long, delayed battle. But this game, Fav gets destroyers very early, and he would have ripped through the Fubin, but Todd gets a great surround on the Death Knight, and he forces a town portal, and Fav will have to back off to fight another day. Fav backs off and goes for Todd's main, where the towers are easily massacred. You can hardly see it, but the Lich eats it early. But the 5 destroyers for Fav give him a very nice lead. Slowly, Todd picks off some units, and he regains a decently sized army. He chases the Demon Hunter out and ends the battle with another Lich kill. It looked good for Todd, but Fav still has the army advantage. Todd does have a Staff of Silence, and he uses it wisely to silence the Death Knight and kill the Lich yet again. But Todd will need more than silence and good micro to get all of Fav's heroes. They fight again, and it took 25 minutes, but finally Todd's expansion catches up with Fav. Todd simply ignores the destroyers and wins the ground battle by so much that Fav gives up and concedes the match.